and welcome in again to Getting Help from Uncle Sam. And you know, we talk all the time about the military, and we need to be serving those who serve us. And Scott Key, you are the president of the Air Force and Space Association, Chapter 102. That is right here in the River region.
Yes, it is.
And folks, there are some of you that really, they don't know about this. And I love it. I have been involved in that for longer than I'd like to think. And so I want us to tell these people something about it so we can get some of you to come and join us.
Now, let me tell you about the tie-in. Montgomery has a rich history in aviation from the Wright brothers in 1910. But the funny thing was, after World War II, when we were part of the Army Air Corps, all the Air Force generals got together and said, while they're sorting out what the future looks like, we need to have something to protect the Air Force interest. So in 1946, the Air Force Association was formed by Hap Arnold and Jimmy Doolittle. And Jimmy Doolittle was actually the first president of the Air Force Association a year before the Air Force was a separate service. It was in 1947 at the Key West Agreement that the Air Force became a service. So AFA has been around longer than the Air Force.
You know, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
It is.
Amazing.
And even though they didn't form right here, they formed in D.C., that's the same year that Air University stood up to be the tenets, the mission of the Air Force Association, Air and Space Forces Association, is to advocate, support, and educate about air power. And so Air University stood up as a center of leadership excellence education at the same time as the Air Force Association. Fast forward till about 1980 when Chick Cleveland was a commander out at Air University.
What a great guy.
Yes, great American. The Gathering of Eagles started. So they needed a funding organization outside of the Air Force active duty. So we became an adjunct supporter of the Gathering of Eagles STEM Scholarship Foundation.
Tell them what the Gathering of Eagles actually is. I love this event.
It started out, we brought in, the very first Gathering of Eagles, they brought in Jimmy Doolittle to speak to the cadets at the Air Command and Staff College. And that became a deal, so it blossomed out. We wanted to capture oral histories on all of these aviation heroes, and we've got those out at the Research Center on base. And so then it expanded. My year in 1989, there were actually 25 members of the Gathering of Eagles. It was the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and they had fighter pilots from both sides, from Germans to Poland to Brits, were there at the same breaking bread. So we've been engaged with that through that time, and we do that annual Gathering of Eagles luncheon out at Wind Lakes Country Club, where it's a chance for us to let the community see these heroes, understand who they are, the legacy of the Air Force, and what they've done and the values that they profess. So it's a great event for us and a fundraiser. Half the profits go back to the Air Command and Staff College for their STEM scholarship program. So we're big about putting money back in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. So we're big on building, educating our next wave of great thinkers and great doers.
So how do you stay, every organization has to be funded.
Right.
So tell me how number one, how do you stay funded? How can someone out there become a member? Because there's so many things that you will enjoy and learn, and you have at lunch. You have a great lunch. It's just a beautiful people.
That's a great point. We do quarterly luncheons. We make a little bit of money on those. The community partner luncheon, which is the one coming up in September, we pay for our community partners, who are people who have joined us as partners. That's one way that we fund. It's $90 a year. It's not extravagant. That gets you access to 3 of the meetings, and you buy your lunch, and on the 4th one we buy your lunch. But that includes the Gathering of Eagles. We try to have those out at different places because since COVID and even before, because of security, the community was separated from the base. Nobody knew what was happening on the other side of the fence. So we've actually had luncheons out at the 187th Fighter Wing. We've had them at the 908th Flying Training Wing, where the MH-139 Greyhawks are. We try to get the people engaged on the base. And so we raise money through the Gathering of Eagle table sponsorship and the golf tournament that's coming up in October. We get a portion of the community partner fee, which I said is only $90 a year, which is pretty incredible. And then they give us a stipend we have about 1,100 members in the River region, so we get a stipend from National to help that. Our total budget's about $40,000 a year, so it gets. We could do more though. There's things that we need to be doing out there to outreach to the veterans, outreach to the spouses, as far as daycare, as far as job transfer, things that we can do as a community to make sure that the Air Force and the other services that are coming to the War College and the Air Command and Staff feel welcome, that they want to come here. And so that's part of our mission also, is to make sure those families are supported and we get a good report as they move on to their next assignment.
What I love too, I love some of your speakers. The speakers at the meetings are incredible.
That's right, and we've had a great opportunity. We have good work. We've had, when the 187th, when they were bringing the F-35 on, we got a speaker
Right.
from the wing commander out there. Thud came out, call sign Thud, came out and gave us a presentation on where the F-35 was. As an advocacy role, we were very involved in the time with Senator Shelby and Senator Sessions and Martha Roby and Mike Rogers and Terry Sewell to make sure the F-35 came here. So we got a speaker update on that. Same thing with the 908th, when they transitioned from the C-130 to
Right.
the MH-139. We got the people inside the hangar. They could touch and feel an MH-139. Had one out in the center field for Veterans Day Parade last year at Biscuit Stadium. They actually landed a helicopter in center field during the Veterans Day event out there. So the way to get active with us, if you can join the Air Force Association, you can join us as a community partner for $90. It's afa102.net is where you'll see to do that. That's where you would sign up for the luncheons. We're excited about that portion. We have the President and CEO of the Air Force Association speaking at our community partner luncheon on September the 12th, retired Lieutenant General Burt Field.
Yes.
So he's the head dog out there at the National, and so we've got him out here to kind of show him what we do and let him tell us what he's doing. So we're excited about that also.
Well, there's no greater appreciation than those people who, if it weren't for all of you, we wouldn't be free. It's just that simple.
So thank you.
That's freedom. And listen, thank you so much for being with us. And,
thank you for the opportunity.
And I just sent you my check, so I'm keeping my membership
There
up.
you go. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll be right back.
Air power.